Hello again. This is John Wild, here to give you another look at vintage $6 million man toys from Kenner. Today, we'll be looking at the Turbo Tower of Power dual launch drag set from 1977.
With the success of the $6 Million Man action figure in 1975, Kenner gave children many more options in 1976 and 1977. The addition of new playsets, clothing packs, accessories, and vehicles really began to round out the $6 Million Man toy line and establish it as one of the legendary toys of the 1970s. Kenner also merged two of its very popular toy lines also in 1977 and created the odd $6 Million Man Turbo Tower of Power dual launch drag set. In 1974, Kenner introduced the Turbo Tower of Power vehicle sets. Just 1 year previous, in 1973, Ideal released Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle that sold very well for the toy company. As was the case in most toy successes, each toy company produced their own variation of this style of toy. Fisher-Price added a friction-powered dragster to the Adventure People. Mattel had the Power Shifter's Bad Gunner, and AHI Toys produced multiple styles of friction-powered superheroes on motorcycles. Friction toys are a type of wheeled mechanical toy that use an inertia or friction wheel to power their movement. The spring attached to the vehicle's friction wheel is wound by rolling the toy backwards, with its tires pressed against a solid surface. Releasing the tension on the spring propels the toy forward. The invention of friction toys is credited to D. P. Clark, one of the founding members of the Dayton Group, a loose association of Ohio-based toy makers. Clark patented the friction flywheel system in 1897. Ideal Toys modified the friction engine for its Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle. Instead of using just the tension built up in a spring to propel the cycle, the addition of a weighted flywheel added more power to the built-up tension inside of the toy engine. The engine was wound by an innovative gearing system that doubled as a launching ramp. The distinct sound made by this gearing also added to the excitement of these toys. Never before has friction power been, well, so powerful. Kenner Toys modified this concept for their own toy line of the Turbo Tower of Power. Instead of using a crank handle to power the gearing, they would use an air pump. The tower, or air pump, was connected to the launch ramp by a hose. Placing the friction-powered toy on the ramp in a precise location blew air into the engine, activating the flywheels like a windmill. The more air pumped in, the faster the toy would go. The only problem was the delivery of the air to the engine. Any leaks would weaken the power to the friction engine. Also, being made of plastic, the hoses stretched and didn't fit properly over time. Plus, the pumps would take a beating by children trying to get the toys to move faster, often broken within days or even hours. This toy was definitely not as rugged as Ideal's Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle. Incorporating the success of the Turbo Tower of Power and the $6 Million Man, Kenner created the dual launch drag set. This toy had two friction-powered motorcycles that would launch simultaneously to compete in a race. The $6 Million Man had a modified version of his Bionic mission vehicle, and the Bionic Bigfoot was given a rocket-powered cycle. Now, the Bionic mission vehicle never made an appearance in the $6 Million Man TV show and is considered to be an expanded universe toy. But the Bionic Bigfoot on a rocket-powered motorcycle? Now that's just crazy. The set came with two turbo towers to power the vehicles. Each tower had a different picture of the characters, $6 Million Man on his pump and the Bionic Bigfoot on the other. These are the only vintage 3 3/4 scale $6 Million Man action figures. Now let's take a look at the $6 Million Man on his Bionic mission vehicle. And let's take a look at the $6 Million Man figure off of his Bionic mission vehicle. If you notice, the eye paints are a little bit unusual. His hands have rings in them to hold onto the handlebars, and those rings are also present on the feet. And the sitting stance basically makes this figure basically just a mission vehicle type of figure. Doesn't really work very well with your other figures. And here's a look at the Bionic Bigfoot on his rocket-powered motorcycle. And here's a close-up look at the Bionic Bigfoot off of his motorcycle. And he does stand on his own 2 feet. He's also got the loops in his hands, but his feet don't have the loops, and it makes him somewhat of a passable 3 3/4 inch figure that you could display with your other figures if need be. Also included were 2 air hoses and 4 traffic cones. I guess the traffic cones were there to mark the lanes or the finish line. The launch ramp had decals attached, and using a spring would release the toys fairly off ramp. We'll take a look at this piece. When fully assembled, the 2 towers attached by hoses to the ramp had the Bionic Man and the Bionic Bigfoot ready to go. Kenner also had the tower and cycle for the Bionic Woman set using similar TTP technology. Now, for the first time in many years, we will witness the race that we have all been waiting for. In Lane 1, Steve Austin, astronaut and Bionic-powered super agent on his Bionic mission vehicle with windshield. In Lane 2, the Bionic Bigfoot from another world on his rocket-powered cycle. And they're off! It's going to be a close one. Bigfoot's pulling ahead. Bigfoot wins!
I would like to thank you for watching my video on Kenner Toys' $6 Million Man Turbo Tower of Power Dual Launch Drag Set from 1977. Images used on this video come from PlaidStallions.com, and I encourage you to visit this awesome 1970s toy website. Please check out my other videos on Kenner's $6 Million Man, comment, and subscribe to catch my latest uploads. Until next time, Bigfoot on a motorcycle